You're listening to On the Couch with Dr. Michelle, right here on LA Talk Radio.
And welcome to my couch here on LA Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Michelle Cohen, as you know. And as usual, we are talking about an amazing, what I call spiritual, but therapeutic technique. I've spoken about it before, and I've had my special guest on before. And I've been waiting for her to come out with a new book because she's just one of my favorite guests and amazing. And backed by popular demand is Mabel Katz. Let's bring her on right now. Yay!
How are you, Michelle? It's so great to see you. You're my favorite interviewer.
Oh, love it. Mutual admiration women here. That's what we are. We got it going on, girls. You know why? It's because you and I are of the same frequency. I am so tuned in and in agreement with everything you say and write about and speak about.
I'm so glad. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, it's so true. It is the best. And I want everybody to understand that we're going to be talking about many principles involved with Mabel Katz's, studies. She speaks about it all over the world, internationally known. I will give you her bio in just a bit. But we're talking about her latest book, 100 Questions about Ho'oponopono. It's going to help you let go of the past, find your spiritual mission, regain control of your life, and to let go and trust more. Ooh, scary stuff, huh, everybody? But anyway, not scary.
It's easier than it seems.
Yes, it is. It sounds easier. It sounds hard, difficult, and, as a psychologist, you and I have talked about this before, Mabel, but it's kind of like people, I can't do that. I can't forgive. I can't, and all that,
I can't let go.
Yeah, can't let go.
But yes, you can.
Yes, you can, and you're going to tell everybody how to do that. Yes. So we're talking about the ancient, I guess we can call it a therapeutic art called Ho'oponopono. It's known as the secret beyond the secret. And it's helped countless people to make amazing positive changes in their lives. And of course, Mabel, you have your latest book out all about it, answering so many questions, 100 questions.
Yes, and more.
And more. And it is true. I have a bit of a cold, so I'm so happy that you're an internationally known speaker, because I'm going to have you do most of the talking today, so I don't cough here. Okay. Let me just give folks a little bit of a warm-up here. Mabel Katz is one of the world's most famous personal self-growth leaders. You've been around and a superstar in 40-plus countries. Your reputation is based on your ability to radically change people's lives through teaching Ho'oponopono. The cold is alive and well. So, if you can tell us what Ho'oponopono is, that would be great.
Okay. So, the definition would be an ancient art of solving. But I always said it's like a philosophy of life. It's about letting go and allowing a part of you that knows better to do the driving in your life. Yes. We know that actually all our problems are memories accumulated in our subconscious mind. And that's what Ho'oponopono helps us, to clean, to erase, we say, all those memories accumulated in our subconscious mind. That is actually the part of us that is manifesting. And it's and unless you erase, you're gonna keep replaying. Yeah. So we said life is replay memories, and you're the one that can stop, and allow again to a part of you to erase and inspire you with the right idea, the right solutions.
Yes. Yes. What were some of the influences in your life that helped you learn Ho'oponopono?
Well, actually, I was a tax accountant in US.
I love it. I love it.
Yes, yes, very much in the box. Yes, I was a creative accountant. I didn't know at that time. I found out later. But but still in the box, one plus
Yeah.
one is two.
Uh-huh.
So, and when I started my search, because I realized I was not happy, I was looking for happiness in the wrong places, thinking material things, having, the spouse, the house, the cars, the children,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, check, check, check. I
Yeah.
should be happy now, yes, but no, I was not. I was a very angry person. I used to see all the negatives, and
Aw.
things like that.
Yeah.
So when I started my search, even though that there were a lot of techniques and things that helped me on the way, I kept having this little voice that said there has to be an easier way. I
Uh-huh.
didn't buy
Uh-huh.
into the going back and kind of replaying also, or finding out, or trying to understand or analyze. And actually, Ho'oponopono came into my life. I always said it wasn't the first seminar that I said, Eureka, this is what I'm
Yes.
looking for. But definitely there was a part of me that knew better. And
Yeah.
I kept coming back to the seminars with what it was my teacher for 10 years,
Wow.
and listen to the information again and again, because the I just felt like I found peace, I found happiness. I
Right.
re- I realized that it was inside of me, that I didn't have to
Right.
go an inch outside of myself, and that
Right.
maybe I didn't need as much as I thought I needed to be
So
happy.
you're talking about, we all have that higher self within us, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, what does Ho'oponopono mean?
Means the word. The,
Yes.
the word is Hawaiian, and it means how to correct an error, how to make it right. Because
Oh,
because Ho'oponopono says that everything is really the monitor, or the screen in the movie theater. So the problem is not actually in the monitor, and it's not in the screen in the movie theater. It's in the projector, yes, or the
oh,
programs that we've been downloading, yes. So we are here to make it right. Yeah. So that everything that we call a problem are opportunities to make it right. So that means to erase, to correct, and come out, like I said before, with the right solution or the right response.
that's beautifully said, Mabel, because it is true. It's making everything right, and we have the power to do that, and that's what you teach.
Yeah, so something, Michelle, that I would like to tell people is this is not about how not to have problems. Yes, because the problem is not actually the problem; it's our reaction to the problem. Yes, so the idea is that
Right.
you might
Right.
still have problems, but you can be at peace. Yes, so how to
Right.
let go instead
True.
of reacting, instead of
Right.
resisting. Yeah, so Ho'oponopono works in our reaction, because that has to do with the memory in us. Otherwise, it wouldn't bother us.
Uh-huh.
So
Right.
100%
Right.
responsibility. What is it in me?
Right.
Yeah,
Right. And I was reading, and I loved your book, by the way.
thank you.
Just it really helps so many people, and will help people understand how they can go within. It's also a workbook, which I really appreciated as well. But you talked about how people write you from all over the world, and you lecture all over the world. And right now, fears and worries and problems and wars and hate, and they're difficult, you know.
Mm, yeah, but but
How do
also,
you help people with that? How do you help soothe people sort of cope
well,
with all that's
well,
going
again, everything is coming out for us to clean. We
on?
cannot do it, but God can. Yeah, I call it God. I found it inside myself. I
Yes,
didn't believe before. I want to clear for people, this has nothing to do with religion. You can call
right,
it whatever.
right.
But the thing is, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. But the thing is, we can arrive faster if we allow God to correct. Yeah, that part of us that knows. Not because this is the solution will not come from an intellect. Yeah, otherwise
Yeah.
we'll keep replaying, and
No, it's
all
really
these
true.
problems
Yeah, yeah.
replay memories.
Right,
So
right. That's
the idea is
mhm.
become a little bit more humble, and at the same time, know how powerful we are, that we can make a difference. Not seeing ourselves as victim or not seeing other people as victim, because we don't help seeing other people as victims either. So the idea is we take responsibility. I don't know what is inside of me that this is happening, but I'm sorry, you know.
Right.
And we do it like just by saying thank you. One
Yes.
day
Yes.
my teacher received a message where it says, just tell them to say thank you. I know what they mean. And it's not like I have to feel
Yes.
thank you. It's not like I'm saying it to anybody outside of myself. It's just an internal work that I do where I'm taking means that I'm taking responsibility and I'm letting go, allowing the part of me,
Mm.
to take care of it, to help. So we all
Yes.
can
Yes.
help, we can all contribute, we can all make a difference. Again, if we let go. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. It is so true. By the way, in case you just tuned in here, you're on the couch, and my special guest is Mabel Katz. She is a world-renowned speaker, teacher, practitioner. She practices what she preaches and always has. Particularly her teachings in Ho'oponopono, the ancient Hawaiian. It is sort of a spiritual, but it's for me. It's also I incorporate a lot of my teachings psychologically for people because to me it's cognitive behavioral
Yeah.
because you learn to go within and really understand more about yourself that way. Her
Yeah.
latest
Yeah.
book is
I'm really a very practical and grounded
mm,
person. I
yes, you
consider
are.
myself. And this is for your everyday life, for your every relationship in your life, for every problem. Could be relationship, could be money, any
Yeah.
health too.
Yes, it's true. And we'll get into a little bit about that because you talking about in your book how we can help ourselves with our illnesses and
Yes.
our immune systems and things like that. By the way, her book is called 100 Questions About Ho'oponopono, but there's
Yeah.
more questions answered in there. It'll really enlighten you, and it's one of my favorite books because I've always been a proponent of Ho'oponopono teachings.
Thank you.
It's true, Mabel. Whenever I'm having issues, as we all do, people go, "Oh, psychologists don't have issues. You're all, no, good heavens, I'm a human being. I
I have
have,
issues too. I have issues too.
yeah,
The universe gives me opportunities to practice what I preach.
there you go. And those are gifts. So I always go back to saying the words and practicing Ho'oponopono to help, oh, yes, buff myself up every morning again. Now I start with that practice again. So maybe we could go through just so viewers and listeners can understand what those words are, those sentences,
Yes.
um, in Ho'oponopono, and what they sort of mean, and then people will understand the power of those words.
Okay, so
So,
I have to clear that I do not use the four phrases, the famous four phrases. The I'm
yeah,
sorry, please,
yeah,
forgive me, thank you, and I
right,
love you. I just use thank you, I do, I love you, and we have um,
yeah,
a lot of tools for everybody. Now,
right.
what Ho'oponopono really is the
Mm.
100% responsibility. I'm sorry, please forgive me for whatever is in me that created it. That
And
doesn't make us guilty. It's not about guilt. It's
right,
about what is it in me? Because again, we are attracting and creating everything in our life.
oh
And
boy,
so it's not a punishment. I wouldn't even call it a test. I call it opportunities. Opportunities to make amends, opportunities to correct errors, like we said, and everything. So like I mentioned before, just repeating thank you, even if you don't feel it, and you do it mentally, kind of like a parrot, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and again, you can be even mad or even I love you, I love you, I love you. Those things, what are you doing? These are like shortcuts, passcodes, to tell that part of you, hey, you
right,
take care of this. Yes,
right,
it's the
right.
letting go. Our part is only letting go. That's what we do. in Ho'oponopono. Our part is letting go and allowing this part to take the control. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So,
Yeah.
so the idea is, what is it that can help you to live more in the present, to be more aware and conscious, so that you can, when you have a problem, you can take some distance and not identify so much, or
Yes.
react.
Yes.
So that's kind of what we do. We become the observer. And like I mentioned, we work on our reaction to the problem, not the problems. Yeah.
Ah.
So what is it in me that is affecting me? Why am I reacting? Now, what I love about Ho'oponopono is that I don't need to know which memory, how come,
Yes.
when, you
Yeah.
know. I just need to know that yes, it's something inside of me.
Yes.
And when I do that, it's like saying, I'm sorry for whatever is in me, but I don't even need to say all that. I
Right.
just can say, I can just repeat, thank you, or I love you. So
So
please notice that we are never, I'm sorry, and I let you
no,
speak.
no, no. You go ahead.
What
You're
happened,
perfect.
you have to realize that we are never present. So the thinking, the coping, the not forgiving,
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Sure.
takes you all the time, the resentments, that's living in the past.
Yes.
The past is actually in your mind. Yes, it's
So
just the
true.
thoughts in your mind.
It's so true. Yes.
And then we have this other thing that we do is we get anxious about the future, worry
Of
about the
course, we
future.
do. Yeah.
Things that maybe never will happen.
Yes.
but,
Yes.
we worry about everything, and
Yeah.
that takes us to the future. And
Sure.
all we have is this present moment. So Ho'oponopono is bringing you back to this thank you and the I love you. Ho'oponopono brings you back to present.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
all you have.
So let's just say someone is troubled, or they're remembering some old past hurts, or they're someone is triggering them, let's say, whoever that might be. They had a rough environment growing up, and you say that the focus is not to go Freudian and say, well, your mother was this, and so she did this and that, and you must understand that this is why. No, it exists. There's a problem going on. You're feeling this within you. So you would suggest perhaps that we sort of be the observer on it,
Yes, but
within
now,
ourselves.
Michelle, one of the things that we can do, let's say that you cannot say thank you or I love you in the moment or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You are, in the roller coaster, of the
Mhm,
emotions and
mhm,
things like that, and the,
mhm.
the, the memories. So one of the things that I sometimes I tell people is just change your conversations. For example, maybe you can just think of the things that you can be grateful that happened to you, or that you had that mother or that father, or that you had that
Yes.
upbringing, or that
Yeah.
you had a difficult
Yeah.
childhood or something terrible
Right.
happened. So
Sure.
you look
Yeah.
for the good, because everything we chose before we came. So everything is perfect for us. The
Ooh.
thing is, we
Yeah.
can choose to see ourselves as victims for the rest of our life, because we have free choice.
Yeah.
Or you can learn from that, and now you can help other people because you went through that and because you
Right.
know. So
Yes.
everything is kind of making it right, or
Mhm.
making amends for things from other lifetimes.
Yes.
So
Ah.
everybody that comes into our life is giving us an opportunity to correct. So everybody that comes into your life, there are no accidents or coincidences,
Wow.
or
Okay.
everything. This is a perfect universe, even if it doesn't
Mm.
look like it.
Mhm. Yeah, right, exactly. What I hear from more and more people is when sort of, as we might say, bad things, but that's the language, I guess, happen, they say, "No, no, this is a blessing because I needed to learn forgiveness. I needed to learn to forgive myself, or I
Mm.
needed to let this stuff go because it's only making me sick." And I don't want to come back on the wheel. when I decide to return into another physical incarnation.
Whatever I have to do, I do it in this lifetime.
Right. So you believe in reincarnation. You believe that we come back to learn lessons more and
Yes,
more.
I
Yeah.
think, Michelle, that gave me so much peace of mind to
Yeah.
know that. Because
Right.
you know why? Because then you don't take things so seriously,
Right.
or you don't worry as much. I think you don't take things personal. So you know that everything is an opportunity.
Mm.
And that's why I mentioned to you, if you change your conversations here, yeah, the idea is to stop the conversation,
Yeah.
period.
Sure.
But let's say that you are just willing
Right.
to
Blah, 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 blah,
consider,
blah, blah. Right.
willing to consider that maybe it is something in you that
Yeah.
attracted it, or something that you really chose because it was going to give you the opportunity to grow, to
Mhm.
learn, to make amends. You're gonna see the situation in a completely different way.
Right. Exactly.
And like you said before, you don't want to hurt yourself anymore, because
No.
I mean, the not forgiving is you are taking the venom, and you are waiting for the other person to die. Yes.
Exactly.
So we
You
hurt
know,
ourselves for so many ways when we blame or we don't want to forgive or things like that.
right. Exactly. And by the way, Mabel Katz's latest book is 100 questions about Ho'oponopono. And for me, as I learned it years ago, but you're the master, you studied with the master. It is, I think they started using it um, in psychiatric facilities, as I understand, for the workers, for the therapists and the psychiatrists to sort of cope in their lives um, with people. Believe me, I've worked in psychiatric hospitals, and it's not easy sometimes. And you
Sure.
must learn to love, and just be patient, but it really helped a lot of. And then they, of course, utilized it after years as a teaching for everyone to really understand and heal themselves and understand about their responsibility and their choices and self-love and
Yes.
self-forgiveness.
I had nurses sometimes coming, and they said that, for example, that they practice and during their shift there are no emergencies, for example.
Oh, isn't that
And
beautiful?
co-workers notice. And he says,
Yes.
your shift, it never,
Yes.
it's always quiet. Yes.
Hmm.
So we can make a big difference.
Yes.
Just if we do this work, just by your presence, just by you taking responsibility that even all the patients that come to you, there are
Oh, yeah.
no accidents or coincidences, that there is
Yeah.
something for you to work on, but it's much easier. Whatever
Right.
profession you have, is much easier with Ho'oponopono,
Right.
because you just have to be yourself, let go, and allow yourself to be guided.
Hmm.
So that you can come more from inspiration. So
I
actually,
I think that's
it's much
beautiful.
easier.
Yeah.
Everything gets
Yeah.
much easier.
It, it does. I think you're so right. And that which we are and become within ourselves is exactly what we're putting out there and bringing to us in the universe. So, I mean,
Exactly.
there is, as you mentioned, there is that law of attraction going on out there because not only scientifically, in the cosmic quantum world, it's happening. We're all connected photonically, but it's also the old school things of our body language, our energy fields. We all have, at least they say, 3 meters or 9 feet of an energy field that others can pick up on. So
Exactly. So
it's
everything,
happening.
we are affected by everything, and we affect too.
Exactly. And I was always, with the traditional words that, they teach or have taught in the past, the sentences, I'm sorry, we're talking to ourselves. I'm
Uh,
sorry, please forgive me,
Thank you, and I
thank
love
you, and
you.
I love you. Okay. I always got hung up on I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
I guess that because that kind of to me always meant forgive please forgive me. I'm sorry I hurt you. I'm sorry I hurt you. I'm sorry I was so naive or I had to go through these horrible, painful experiences. That was always kind of an issue for me. So I really appreciate you sort of not utilizing that
Bring it like,
concept.
and bringing some light to that, because
Hmm.
the repentance part is
Right.
like a small child when he comes to you and says, "I'm sorry, I didn't
Yes,
do it.
exactly.
I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't want
Right.
to hurt you, or something like that." So the I'm sorry here. First of all, you don't have to say it, but you have to know that's what you are doing, even when you say just thank you only. But in Ho'oponopono. But look at it this way: you are coming like a little child to your father in heaven and saying, "I'm sorry, please help. I didn't mean it." So this is not about guilt at all. This is not about you being a sinner at all. There's something wrong
No,
with you at all. Nothing,
right,
nothing like
right,
that.
right. We're all these little innocent souls coming here saying, okay, I'm going to experience this again. And now let's see how things unfold. Why did I put myself in this family? Well, I don't know. But I needed to learn. And um, I think so when you say the words simply say thank you, it's going within and thanking yourself for everything that you are and have been and will be. Maybe would
Well,
that be a way to
you
sum it
know,
up?
you know what I tell people? Do and understand whatever you want, just do it. You understand? It feels right to keep going with the four phrases, just keep going. This is important. For example, you can get your own tools, because when you have a problem, you can always ask and say, "How do I clean? How do I erase?" Because there are always opportunities to erase, from your subconscious mind.
Sure,
And,
sure.
and you might hear, some people might hear, some people will get it on a sign or something, some people will receive it at a thought, and
Yeah.
it's your tool. So,
Yes.
what is it? For example, I use a lot of "I let go and trust."
Yes.
Let's
Yeah.
say that I have a difficult situation. I just go, "I let go and trust, I let go and trust, I let go and trust" mentally, because what I'm doing, I'm stopping the pattern and disengaging of making up stories,
Right.
you know,
Right. Right.
or,
Right. Right.
or remembering everything that it happened in the past or what it could happen in the future or things like that.
Right.
So
Right.
I let go and trust keeps me on track. It keeps me connected. It keeps me
Yes.
present.
Right.
Yeah,
And
and
yeah. Go ahead.
that's the,
So
that's the idea.
exactly. And again, you are not coming from a religious point of view. You're
No,
talking about whoever wants to call the universal consciousness, higher power, God, whoever that may be. You're just saying
no.
I'm letting go. I'm
I
allowing whatever, but I'm taking responsibility for this
yeah.
and for this and
Be-
for, but I'm not shaming myself and I'm not
because of
suffering. Maybe I'm suffering, but then I observe why and I
because
learn.
because because of Ho'oponopono, I became a believer. Because things started happening to
Yes.
me that I said, "I'm not doing this by myself." I mean, there were things like
Yes.
impossible. So you
Yeah.
realize you are not alone, and I think that gives you a lot of peace of mind too.
It
That you
does.
don't
It's
have
like
to do it
because
alone.
you're partnering up with a higher power. We are all that part of that, right? So
Exactly.
we're not alone. So we
That
can,
that is our problem. Yes, that we don't ask for
yes,
help. We don't ask for
yes.
help.
I think you're right. It really is our problem, which
Yeah.
brings me sort of a to a question about our egos. Our egos get in the way so much. It's like we want an identity, we want a purpose, we want to, but how do our egos sort of affect our ability to just let go and open up and allow?
Because the ego doesn't have all the information. The ego doesn't have a clue of what's possible.
Right.
The ego
Right.
just think it knows. And for
Yep.
example, not long ago, I heard something that it was really important. For example, one of the fears that we have to let go is the fear of death. Yes.
Oh God,
And,
yes.
and, and some people made all the analysis that on the pile of all the fears that you have, at the bottom is actually the fear of death. So what happens if I
You're
lose
right.
my job? Whatever if my spouse leaves me? Whatever, I'm gonna die. That's kind
Yeah.
of okay. So what is the part of us that is afraid of dying? Our ego, because the
Yeah.
ego is the one that dies.
Yeah. Right.
That's
Right. Right.
you are not taking with you what you are not. You
Right.
are
Right. Right.
your
Right.
ego, and you are not your physical body.
Yep. That's so true. We are not that. And I know you have known and experienced so many people in your life who have had near death experiences or whatever you want to call them. I have had so many guests and friends. Three of my friends who are psychologists were
Wow.
literally flatlined for long
Wow.
periods of time. And they experienced a lifting. They experienced, a very common, the light and some enlightenment, and they got wonderful messages, and they weren't ready. You're not coming down. You're not coming up here or wherever that abyss is. You're not in this frequency yet, and we won't let you. So go back down and do what you have to do. And they're not very happy about it, but
I know, I know. I have a very close friend of mine, and he said that when uh, he was in a place, where he was asked, and everything that you did you do it from your heart? Even if you made a mistake,
yes,
or something, did you do it from your heart?
yes,
And that was the only question he got there asked. And then he heard there is mission, he needs to go back. And
yes.
and he says that the worst part was coming.
Right, right,
That was,
right,
it was so depressing to have to come back.
right. But
And
wait, we came here
I
to.
always tell people that we are so attached
Right,
here,
we are.
and we think this is it. And,
Yeah.
again, letting go of fear, very, very important. Not buying into the fear right now, very important.
Right. And no, you're so right, Ma Bell. By the way, we're talking about Ma Bell's latest book. It is an incredible, really wonderful read. It,
Thank
it
you.
it's not, oh, you're so welcome. And thank you for being who you are and teaching and
Thank
spreading
you.
the word and sharing your wisdom with everyone. 100 questions about Pono Pono, Ma Bell. Um, Lots more questions.
They actually can go to mabelcats.com/100 questions.
Yes.
And
Yes.
actually, if they buy the Kindle version, it's only 99
Ooh.
cents, and they
Ooh.
get a $67 bonus.
Oh, that's
Some
beautiful.
some
I love that.
audios with my teacher, with Dr. Ihaliakala. They're very, very
Oh,
special.
oh, that's beautiful. So, in the psychological realm, we always work with people who usually bring up their relationships. And you and I talked about this briefly, about examining our past and how we should just sort of try to let that go, be an observer, and just be in the now and clean ourselves, cleanse as to, you know, just loving ourselves and thanking ourselves. Um, how can that also affect our relationships? Whether they're, with our children or our coworkers,
Yeah.
friends, how can that help us with those relationships?
I actually love it, the way it works with relationship, because it will bring
Mm,
you much more harmony.
mm.
You will be able to keep your mouth shut. I always tell people, we
Mm,
wouldn't talk, we wouldn't have that many problems. Yeah.
yeah.
So one of the things that convinced me the most was my profession, because I didn't let go of my accounting practice,
Oh, sure.
overnight. So
Sure.
I had the opportunity to represent a lot of people, because that's the kind of work that was coming my way when I started doing Ho'oponopono. People that had problems with the IRS, and
Oh, yeah.
they were audited, and I had to represent them and defend
Mm,
them, before the IRS.
yeah.
And
Sure.
because we practice Ho'oponopono, amazing relationship with IRS auditors.
Oh my
couldn't
God.
even,
You gotta
I,
be kidding me.
I couldn't even believe the results myself, and my clients even less. So,
Wow.
but with the relationship with my kids also, because, for
Yeah.
example, even today, they are in their 40s.
Yeah.
Um,
No
if, they
way.
have, if they have a problem, they call me and says, please clean. They tell me,
I love it.
please clean. And,
Mom,
and I,
mom,
I know, and I know they apply it, even
sure.
though, it's not like, I force them to come to a seminar or anything, but they see the change in me. We
Oh,
say that
yeah.
when you change, everything changes.
Sure.
And my idea is that if they have a problem, they will call me. They
I love
because
it.
what they say is they feel much more
Mm.
at peace after
Yeah.
they speak to me. But a lot of times it's just the cleaning going. You understand? And
Yeah.
and me just listening.
Yes.
So sometimes it's not about giving advice or telling
Mm.
people what to do, but
No.
whatever gets erased from us, it will get erased from them, and maybe they will get the answer because they will be
Yeah.
more open.
Right. Beautifully said. Because they see, like you said, the change in us. Your
Yes,
kids see the change in you, your relationships. I love that story about dealing with the IRS. I mean, that's hilarious.
yes, yeah, and it was amazing. I couldn't believe there were situations where I couldn't even believe in myself.
I love it.
Actually, oh no,
Yeah.
those stories I tell in my zero frequency book, the
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you interviewed me last time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here in the 100 questions, that are the questions that I get. I do monthly classes, question and
Yes.
answer monthly classes, and so the questions that always repeat or say in seminars or in
Mhm.
social media. So
Yes.
so I touch into purpose. For example, I found my mission and my purpose by mistake.
Ah,
I was
yeah.
not looking to change careers. I was
Right.
very successful as an
Yeah. Yeah.
accountant.
Yeah.
I was already working part-time at
Yes.
that time.
Wow. Good for
So
you.
it doesn't make any sense what I do now. But relationships, all kind of relationships. I talk about children. I talk about your relationship with your inner child. I
Yes.
talk
Exactly.
about relationships, professional and personal,
Yes. You
relationships.
sure do.
It really
So
affects
helpful.
completely money. I talk about money and prosperity,
Yes, you
letting
do.
go of
Yes.
the limiting beliefs that we have about money.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
So
And
it's a little bit of everything, all the areas in your life that you could be affected, you're going to find the answer there.
so beautiful. And you're right. And people saying, I don't know how, well, I doubt this. Well, get the book and start reading and
Yes.
understanding, viewers and listeners, because I mean, yeah, I think that's going to straighten out a lot of your own questions. Because
Easy,
love it.
would
Mhm.
you agree? It's very easy to read
Mhm.
because I'm not a writer. I write from my heart, so it's very easy. It's not a big book. It's 140 something pages. So it's not like, oh my goodness, I have to read all this to learn how to do it. I give you tools there. Also, you have tools that you could start
You
using right
do. I love the work. I love those tools. Yes.
good.
Self-questioning and things like that are just beautiful. Those tools. That's
Yeah,
also what I love about your
the
book.
glass
It's
of
a neat book.
water. You have many,
Yes.
many tools that you can use. There are practical tools, some physical, some mental, because we create,
Yeah.
with our thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Just wanted to. I just flashed on something we started to briefly touch on, but some people, because I also profess that we have to be responsible sometimes for our illnesses, not only mental, but
Yes.
some physical illnesses, how we take care of ourselves, but also our consciousness. Can you elaborate a little bit on how learning Ho'oponopono can help us understand more about how we can prevent and or help ourselves stay healthier? And
Okay. Well, like I said before, if you are continually letting go, you are giving permission for inspiration to come into your life and guide you in whatever could be right for you. Yeah.
mm, yeah,
But I would like to also touch, and then we'll see where this takes us, that illness is a teacher too. So what is it that I need to learn? And I don't need to know, But what I
Mm,
need is to know that it's
mm,
another opportunity to erase, you know?
mm. Yeah, yeah.
The most important, like, remember that I said we don't work on the problem, we work on our reaction to the problem. You
Right.
could be sick and still be okay. You know, you can be at peace.
Yes.
And I had a lot of people that went through difficult,
Yes. Yeah,
challenges,
yeah.
health
Sure.
challenges, but they, when they would go to the doctor and say, "How come you're walking? You should be, in
Yeah.
bed, not
Yeah.
without being able to walk." Or how come
Yeah.
you're not in excruciating pain?
Right.
You could be in excruciating pain.
Sure.
So when you are at peace, even when
Uh-huh.
you have problems,
Yeah.
the problems becomes like the clouds,
Mm,
so they pass.
mm-hmm.
Sometimes, so I wouldn't say that you have to avoid getting sick or illness, but see that also as an opportunity to clean, not
Yes.
to engage. Sometimes I show it like we are resisting, like, talking
Mm,
about it or seeing yourself
yeah.
as a victim. And when you say thank you or I love you, you let go, and the
Mm-hmm.
illness doesn't have any control over you.
Mm-hmm.
This could be the fear, this could be the worry, this could be money lack, illness, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because you
Mm-hmm.
are part of the problem otherwise.
Right, exactly. L- Let it go, and again, it's that whole thing of don't continue focusing and creating and you know and
Making things bigger than they are.
exactly. In my interview a while back with Dr. Joe Dispenza, it was all about you're growing more neural patterns and you're creating the same thing and over and you're living the same. Stop, you know, like you
Yeah.
say, clean, cleanse,
I
get
love
out.
Joe Dispenza says something that I love. He says,
Mm,
if you keep living in the past,
mm.
how could you change your future?
That's exactly right. That's
Yeah.
exactly. You cannot change. Yes,
So
and
letting go is crucial, is very important.
it is, and we get into
Otherwise,
those
you
old
can keep
habits.
replaying.
Hmm. Yeah, those are the old habits of.
And Joe Dispenza also talks about cleaning the subconscious mind. Our problems are in
Oh
our
yeah,
subconscious mind.
very similar. What you and he are teaching,
Yeah,
to people.
only one truth, I always say, yes. So
Yes, there's one truth. Go within.
different ways, different path. You have to do what resonates with you, what you feel good.
Exactly. And what I think is beautiful about Ho'oponopono is it teaches so many to me truths that all the philosophers, you go ancient philosophers, you go all the way back, you find out Rumi, you Buddha,
Yes.
Jesus, all of these teachings, what they're saying is
Yeah.
basically love that which you are, go within, observe, be the best you can be, clean. I mean, these are all words that, and again, I'm not saying that this Ho'oponopono is like Jesus. I'm saying that
Well,
what
the
you
sermon in the
well,
mountain,
yeah,
the
are
sermon
those.
in the
Mhm,
mountain, that's
mhm.
Ho'oponopono. This is
You're
ancient
exactly right.
people. These are ancient. But I've been in prisons, and some of the
Yes.
inmates told me, "Well, what you are telling us is in the Bible." And one of the prisons in Argentina, one of the guys said, "Could I read you the Bible?" And he
Mm.
read me the Bible. So you understand, it's like some people sometimes says, "Where do you get this information?" And I said, "I don't know." Uh,
That's right.
so,
Mhm,
and you know what happened to me, Michelle? I
mm,
could read my first book. I
mm,
wrote it in 2003.
mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
I could go and read that book, and I wouldn't change one word. I still say the same
ah,
thing.
beautiful. You do.
You
You're
know,
very
no,
consistent.
oh, I didn't know better at that time. So I said I wouldn't change anything, and I can read it,
Oh,
and it's like I wrote it yesterday.
oh, it's true. It's beautiful. Speaking about which, all of your books are inspirational, and thank you.
Thank you.
And oh, it's such a blessing to talk to you always. We're getting close to that time to having to wrap up, but um, I want to ask, what is the best way for viewers and listeners to find out more about you and get those fabulous books, including your latest? which is, it's amazing. 100 questions about Ho'oponopono.
Yes. So, well, I have my social media. You can find me by Mabel Katz, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook is Mabel Katz fan page. But if you go to my website, mabelkatz.com, you can go to there are a lot of resources because I know some people are hearing, Ho'oponopono for the first time. Maybe there is a free basic course in video, that will give you also tools and things.
Beautiful.
For this particular book, mabelkatz.com/100 questions, because you have a bonus of $67 just by buying the Kindle version for 99 cents today. So I would run and do it. If anything resonated with you and you are looking for some happiness and peace and abundance and freedom, I'm sure you will find your answers there.
I'm sure you will too. You once again have inspired my viewers and listeners and me, as always, Mabel. And by the way, it's spelled as we would pronounce it here, Mabel, Mabel, but it's pronounced Mabel.
Mabel. Yeah,
I love Mabel.
I remember Mabel too, but I am Mabel.
You are Mabel Katz, KATZ.com. Thank you, Mabel, so much for being here. It's always a blessing.
I hope you feel better. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm so sorry about coughing.
No, it's been wonderful as always. I really enjoy talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Blessings to you for the new year.
Same to you and everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me here on the couch and putting up with my cold. And again, check out the archives here on latalkradio.com. You'll find out more about Mabel Katz and Ho'oponopono. As I always say, take care of yourself first and go within. Love yourself, and then you'll be great for everybody else. Bye-bye.
You're listening to On the Couch with Dr. Michelle, right here on LA Talk Radio.